same matchup in Charlotte as the 49ers look to bounce back after blowing a double-digit lead to Western Kentucky. Well, every home team in Conference USA won yesterday except the Charlotte 49ers. Western Kentucky came from 11 down to win their 6th straight game and start conference play with a win. The question now becomes, what do they have left in the tank just 22 hours later? With Dr. John Giannini, I'm Chris Hassel. Coach, you were in the profession for 30-plus years, head coach for 29 years, but you were never in this position. Neither one of these two head coaches were either, playing the same team back-to-back nights.
And no one really knows what to expect. Looking across the country, these back-to-back games have produced surprisingly different results from Game 1 to Game 2.
Well, let's take a look back at how we got here. And yesterday, Charlotte started fast. Bryce Williams, a career game, hit his first 8 shots. Western Kentucky trailed for 30 minutes of game time. They stayed in it with points off turnovers. Josh Anderson had a couple of steals and buckets. Charles Bassey left the game late in the first half with a back injury. We wondered if he'd play in the second half. He would. And so would his teammate Luke Frampton, who came up huge with 3 threes, including that one to give Western Kentucky a lead, part of an 11-0 run. Jordan Shepard would put Charlotte up with about 2 minutes to go, but a mental breakdown here as Charles Bassey able to find his way backdoor for the rebound putback, fighting through it, and Western Kentucky fighting back to get the 4-point win. So now the question becomes, what are the keys to playing the same team the very next day?
Well, I think there's a few. It starts with motivation. You don't have time to enjoy the relief of winning, or you can't be still stuck in the disappointment of losing. You got to move on. Physical recovery, tired legs, injuries, all need to be tended to. And then most importantly, adjustments. What are you going to do better the second time around? For Charlotte, their identity is their pack line defense, and that defense is predicated on proper position. Right now we see Shepard, he's in proper position, directly between his man and the ball. But as Hollingsworth goes away from the ball, Shepard loses proper position. Shepard now goes to the corner. In this situation, Shepard should be in lower position so he could see Hollingsworth as well as the ball. Obviously, he's too high, out of position. That leads to an easy layup for Hollingsworth. A breakdown in positioning. Now, Suppica is in perfect position between his man and the ball, but he's going to take an extra step towards the ball. That takes him away from Bassey, and as a result, Bassey has a free lane now to get this offensive rebound that gives the Hilltoppers the lead for good.
Yeah, Ron Sanchez said he was really pleased with his team's effort, but referenced those 2 specific mental breakdowns late in the game, which cost Charlotte Game 1. Game 2 is up next. Just about ready to tip. Western Kentucky and Charlotte after the Hilltoppers won yesterday by 4 points coming from behind. Let's take a look at the starting lineups, the same from yesterday. Got to keep an eye on Jahmir Young for Charlotte. 4 straight games at 20-plus points for Western Kentucky. Charles Bassey looked better in warm-ups today than he did on the floor yesterday with that lower back injury. Our players to watch: Davion McKnight. 4 huge free throws in the final 10 seconds. The true freshman was great yesterday. 12 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. And Bryce Williams, a career game, missed just 1 shot. And there is Davion McKnight. He'll come off the bench. Kenny Cooper is still getting the start for Western Kentucky, even though he only saw 13 minutes of playing time yesterday. And Bryce Williams, as the Niners sporting those gold uniforms. Western Kentucky once again in the road reds as we get set to tip it. With Dr. John Giannini, I'm Chris Hassel. Thank you for joining us here on Stadium. The first of 2 games. We're going out to the Mountain West after this one. Utah State unbeaten in the Mountain West at Air Force. That coming up at 6 o'clock Eastern time on many of these stations. Well, Western Kentucky had a bunch of turnovers in the first half yesterday, 10 of them. Here's one of the opening possession, but Josh Anderson, the rejection.
He gets that LeBron come from behind block often.
And always looking to run. Tavion Hollingsworth hits it from 10.
Yeah, Anderson's a spectacular athlete. People know about his dunks, but he gets those chase you down from behind blocks every now and then, and those are huge plays as well.
And 3 big steals in that game yesterday.
He's a potential all-defensive team guy.
4 players in this game. Preseason all-conference players, including Jahmir Young, the freshman of the year a season ago. Ooh, ugly shot, hit backboard and nothing else. Carson Williams did not score in the first half yesterday. Had 6 points all in the second half, but coached just 1 rebound.
You know, his plus-minus, though, was the best on the team. They were plus 13 with Williams in the game. So that tells you he's doing a lot of good stuff you don't see.
Anderson goes back door. Bassey found him. A breakdown in that pack line defense once again.
So there's a lot more cutting in Charlotte's offense than West Kentucky's. But the point is, cutting never hurts you. If you don't get the ball, you keep playing. But you cut, sooner or later you get an easy one.
Milos Supica, wondering if he was going to play today. He sat out the last several minutes of yesterday's game after he went hard into a chair on the sideline. Here's Williams running it, open it. Anderson can't finish. And it's out of bounds to Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte's shot quality so far is not what their coaching staff would want. They've rushed some shots, and there's Coach Stansbury, who was terrific at Mississippi State. Chris, listen to this. His last 10 years at Mississippi State, only Kentucky had more conference championships. Wow. And Coach Sanchez, all he did is work under 4 Final Four coaches with Tony Bennett, Dick Bennett, and Mike Davis. So he's been taught by the best of the best.
And we'll hear more from Coach Sanchez at halftime, talking about his 5-pillared approach. Just underway here. 2 minutes in, and Western Kentucky has a 4-0 lead on Charlotte. Young bounces it to Supica inside a mismatch against Hollingsworth.
Boy, that was threading the needle. There was help there, but perfect pass, and Supica was under control and, you know, avoided a charge and finished in traffic.
There's Kenny Cooper over to Anderson. Cooper did not score in the game yesterday in his 13 minutes, but did dish out 5 assists. Williams gets the double. They had a hard time getting it to Bassey in the half court. He'll take a long jumper and miss. Good defense from Charlotte. And Young, Threadgill off the bench and into the scoring column. Jackson Threadgill.
Yeah, transition's a huge part of the game, and both these teams are good in the half-court defense. So if you could get a 3-on-2 or 2-on-1 through effort, just running the floor, you definitely want to do that.
So Western scored the first 4. Charlotte has answered with 4 of their own.
Charlotte's double teaming in the post yesterday was extremely effective, and was effective again in that first possession last time. Bassey can shoot the ball, but frankly, if I'm coaching against Bassey, I want him to shoot as many 3s and 15-footers as possible because he's so dominant in the paint. But it's got to be frustrating because every time he gets it down low, he's surrounded. Credit to Charlotte's defense. I think Bassey, Chris, all his shots yesterday came from transition or offensive rebounds. They couldn't even get him a shot in the half court.
And that's going to be a traveling violation on Anderson. The foul went on Young for Charlotte. Let the 49ers hold once again and get the ball back here. 16:35 to go in the first half. Mentioned all the home teams in Conference USA won yesterday. Rice beat UTSA, FIU beat Old Dominion, Louisiana Tech beat Marshall, and Southern Miss beat UTEP in overtime.
Yeah, but Chris, they didn't have to play the preseason #1 team either.
You know, the only team that lost at home was right here, Charlotte, but Charlotte played really well in that game, led by 11 in the first half. Bassey gets the block on Supica, but Milos just keeps on coming.
So I love individual battles. First, Bassey blocks his own man shot more than most big guys. Most big guys block shots out of help position. They block someone else's shot, but it's really hard to score one-on-one against Bassey. But Supica made a second effort, did not be deterred by that block, got the putback.
That one was not tipped, so it's an over and back violation. Another turnover, the 3rd already for Western Kentucky. Charlotte has scored 6 straight points. Milos Supica. First time gets it blocked, but follows and scores. Charlotte with the early lead.
So Charlotte's double teams against Basse have been very effective, but in this case, a triple team hurts them. We got 1, 2, 3 defenders over here. Obviously, now you have 2 covering 4, and that's why you end up with a wide open cutter to the basket. You want to double team Basse, not triple team him. Matos that time probably should have been in a rotation, not involved in that double team. They really want to double team big to big with Williams and Suppica.
Western Kentucky led 4-0, but Charlotte has responded with 6 consecutive points. That was their largest run yesterday, even though they led for most of the game, 30 minutes, had an 11-point lead, never had a run of more than 6 points. Western Kentucky's 11-point run late in the game was the difference. There's Young, who had 23 in the game yesterday, along with 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals.
So, Chris, look at all the cutting in this offense, and they end up with a travel, and Young was in trouble because there was only 2 seconds left on the shot clock. But looking at the video of yesterday's game, Western Kentucky's half-court defense was way better than I thought seeing it firsthand. They gave up 1 backdoor cut after about 30 minutes of basketball, but they're really prepared for this Charlotte defense.
Basse's got it. That was something they could not do in the game yesterday. A half-court find for Basse inside.
The key is Basse ducking in. He caught that ball with 2 feet in the paint. If he catches it 2 feet in the paint, it's over. And there's Suppica with the moving screen.
So it's an offensive foul on Suppica. And go back to the feed to Basse down low.
That's a duck-in play. Again, for any big man, the closer you could get the ball to the basket, the better. Yesterday, the big guys for Charlotte were physical with Basse, kept him out of the paint, made him catch it on block, doubled him. That time you saw what happens when Basse can catch the ball near the bucket.
Now, Basse only had 6 shot attempts in that game, made 5 of his 6 for 10 points. He also had 12 rebounds, another double-double. The only player in Conference USA averaging a double-double. Here's Kenny Cooper. And Anderson for 3. A little bit strong. Rebound to Shepard.
That's what the pack defense wants. Stop penetration, make you take a 3 with the hand in the face. Look at these cuts, but West Kentucky's covering them.
Here's Bryce Williams, who started the game 8 for 8 yesterday, had 17 points in the first half. Came into this weekend averaging just 8 points a game, up from 2 as a freshman. Oh, great cut. Young with the bucket, but it was the pass that made that one.
Well, I talked about how Western Kentucky was covering those cuts, but as I said earlier, you keep cutting, sooner or later the defense breaks down. They're going to make a mistake at some point.
Threadgill just threading the needle to Young. Charlotte up by 2. Hollingsworth way short on that. Basse unable to save it, and it's Charlotte basketball.
So Bryce switched on to Hollingsworth that time, played good defense, but here's the cut. Again, a loss of vision on that play by Cooper. As soon as your man doesn't see you, you're open for a layup with a cut. Got to be able to see ball you man.
This is Anzac Rossetto, who fouled out late in the game yesterday. A couple of foul outs, he and Matos. Williams taking it hard. 2 free throws coming for Bryce Williams. 21.7 rebounds, a couple of steals in the game yesterday. Ron Sanchez saying after the game that Williams didn't take 1 shot that was ill-advised.
I want to make a proposal. Conference USA needs to have a most improved player postseason award, and if they do, Williams would be right up there potentially for that honor. And it's not just his scoring. For example, that last play defensively, he's the one who switched on to Hollingsworth and forced him into an air ball.
Ron Sanchez in his 3rd season. 8 wins his first season, 16 last season. And 4-4 to start this season. Charlotte does have a couple of good non-conference wins on the road at Davidson and at George Washington as well. A couple of road A-10 wins. You know how hard that is, Coach.
Well, Coach Stansbury, when he's trying to explain how good a team Charlotte is. He says, listen, they won at Davidson. That's all I need to say. And people who know college basketball know that's true. Coach McKillop, a legendary coach and a super hard place to win at.
We got Jordan Rawls for the travel. He's really struggled against Charlotte. 2 points, 1 of 8 shooting in the game yesterday, and last meeting last year didn't score. 0 for 3, 4 turnovers. That one's going to go the other way. An offensive foul on Jordan Shepherd. Shepherd had a tough first half yesterday as well. Did not score before getting it going in the second half. 10 points, but just 3 of 10 from the floor. He was their leading scorer a season ago. And Jameer Young leading the way this season, averaging about a 20-point clip per game.
They're going right to McKnight. He just gets in the game, and they run a play for him to penetrate.
And a shove called on Charlotte. Boy, McKnight, we were talking yesterday, just does not look like a true freshman.
No.
He went to the line yesterday, final 10 seconds in a 1, 2, 3-point game, hit all 4 of his 1-and-1 free throws.
And that takes confidence. And you see the way he plays the point guard position. He plays with pace and poise, which is usually a veteran thing.
Shot clock under 10. There's Luke Frampton. That's what he does. Strong on that 3-point attempt. There's Williams getting his hand on it, but can't get that extra possession. Save in from Jordan Shepherd. And the drive to the hoop from Matos. Jerry Matos, the transfer from Dayton.
He really needed that. He was scoreless yesterday.
Yeah,
which
0 for 4 from the floor.
Really surprising for him. So that was a good, hard drive and will be good for him to build some confidence and comfort.
0 for 4 yesterday, fouled out as well. Really a non-factor in the game. Boy, Rawls continuing to struggle. He went up, never really got a handle on that ball as he left the floor. He was kind of tipping it.
No, that was a forced drive. He drove into a crowd. You want to drive into space, and that's what makes the pack defense good. It creates crowds around the paint that make driving very difficult.
Well, Charlotte on a 12-2 run after Western Kentucky scored the first 4 points in this game. And a foul on Western Kentucky. Kevin Osaway, the junior from Toronto, one of the top JUCOs in the country.
Motivation we talked about in the opening. How would Charlotte take the disappointment of losing a close game? Well, they've answered that very positively, coming out with energy and ready to try to get a split in this series.
A foul, still no team over the limit, so Charlotte will have the ball when we come back. 12-6 lead for the 49ers here at home in the first half. 12-6 lead for Charlotte. This game looking a lot like the first half of yesterday's game when Charlotte had a double-digit lead. They're on a 12-2 run against Rick Stansbury and company. And look at Rick back in the day, Campbellsville University, a Hall of Famer there. Incredible job at Mississippi State. Spent so much time there, first as an assistant in the 90s, then became head coach and went to Texas A&M, was an assistant there, and now 2016 to now at Western Kentucky, the head coach of the Hilltoppers, who have an incredibly great fan base and are the favorites to win Conference USA this season.
Well, Coach Stansbury's last 10 years at Mississippi State are what caught my eye. Only Kentucky and Florida had more SEC wins in his last 10 years. And let me tell you, Mississippi State does not have the fan base or tradition of certainly Kentucky. Now he's at Western Kentucky where he does have the fan base and tradition. So look out for what he may be able to accomplish.
8-2 start this season. They've won 6 consecutive games. And that's going to be a charge. Western Kentucky struggling of late. They scored the first 4 points in this game, but you saw the stat at the top. They've missed their last 4 field goals, and Osaway gets called for the offensive foul.
Bryce Williams taking the charge. Please create a most improved player award for
Maybe we'll just give
Conference
a stadium
USA.
most improved player if they don't do it.
He's so good on both ends. Now watch. Well, boy, there's the steal. How about the behind-the-back dribble from the big fella? But it doesn't go very well. One of my old assistants used to tell my big guys when they try to dribble, don't be going Tragic Johnson on me.
Shot clock did reset because it was change of possession. Shepard missed the three. McKnight the rebound. Western Kentucky really struggled in the half court yesterday, and the case again today against this pack line D. Osawe, this time he gets it to go. Last time, kind of same drive, got called for the charge. This time pulled up a little bit shy and threw it in.
So Osawe didn't score yesterday until very late in the game and made 2 huge baskets. I love players who are resilient and come through late after going through some adversity.
And Jameer Young draws the foul. He'll get a couple of free throws.
What is very impressive about Young is last year he took Conference USA by surprise, was Rookie of the Year. No one knew what he was going to be all about. Turned out to be a terrific freshman. This year he's at the top of everyone's scouting report. A lot of times players struggle with that. He's actually gotten better, averaging almost 20 a game with everyone trying to make him the focal of their scouting report. So that's really impressive to get better with increased defensive attention.
Yeah, he came in here, I'm not going to say unheralded. I mean, he came out of DeMatha Catholic, a great high school, but he was never the star on his AAU team, and he certainly wasn't expected to be one of the best players in Conference USA. He was freshman of the year and now preseason All-Conference USA. He might be in the running for Player of the Year when it's all said and done. Carson Williams, also preseason All-Conference USA. He was a third-teamer last year.
So, Chris, for me, you had the occasional guy like Charles Bassey, who was the 6th best player in the country coming out of high school. But most of these guys, like Luke Garza, for example, at Iowa, where you're from, he was not, we were recruiting him at LaSalle. That'll tell you something about how he was being recruited.
Boy.
He blew up a lot of these players. They work hard, they develop, and you could just throw the high school rankings out the window. Bassey is the kind of guy that's an exception.
Frampton, the transfer from, where is he from? Your team you used to play, Davidson. We talked about that great win at Davidson for Charlotte, and Frampton is a great three-point shooter for Bob McKillop. Shepard, nice body control. Thought he got fouled. No whistle. He'll take the 2. Charlotte up by 3 midway through the first half here. There's Frampton again, open shot. Oh, he's feeling it now.
So you saw that coming off of the play because he had separation from Williams. You can't be separated from Frampton. You have to chase him and stay on his hip. Don't give him room to shoot.
Yeah, he started 28% from 3. He was 8 for his first 29, but he has really heated up the last 5 or 6 games as Supica puts Charlotte back on top.
Western Kentucky missing Bassey's shot blocking and rim protection. Supica having his way.
Anderson draws the foul. Matos is called for it as he may have gotten something to the lip. Thank you for joining us here on Stadium, the only 24/7 network available on both television and digital devices without a cable subscription. Tons of original programming, daily studio shows. We've got live and classic games. Just check your local television listings or go to watchstadium.com. Stadium, welcome to the game. I know some of us back in the Bowling Green area watching us on the local PBS there in Kentucky. So watch your language. One more free throw coming for Josh Anderson. We've got one more game coming for you on Stadium today. Utah State looking to get to 4-0 in Mountain West play at Air Force coming up at 6 Eastern time.
Coach Stansbury has Bassey back in. He saw one too many layups at the rim.
Ooh, Anderson got his hand on that. Had 3 steals yesterday, almost one there. Threadgill. And now Shepard walked. There's a little bit of a delayed whistle. Stansbury was right in the ear of the official.
That is a turnover Charlotte could live with because it's a dead ball turnover. Right now, the Hilltoppers have to attack their set defense. What killed Charlotte yesterday were live ball turnovers, steals that resulted in layups in the other end.
Both teams with 6 turnovers so far in this one. 12 turnovers combined in the first 12 minutes of this game.
Yeah, the kind of turnover matters, though, when you're playing West Kentucky. If it's a live ball turnover, they're running the other way.
Wish I would have known that as a player growing up. As Bassey counts it plus the foul. Every time I traveled, I just say, hey, it was better than me throwing it away, right?
Yeah.
Dead ball. Charles Bassey. Couple of baskets in the front court in the first half of this one, something we did not see yesterday. He'll look to cap off the three-point play on the other side. Western Kentucky with a 2-point lead as the sun sets here in Charlotte. We are at Halton Arena. As we take a look back to yesterday, Charles Bassey, boy, he had a tough time finding baskets. He really had to fight his way and hurt his lower back in the first half, a recurring injury for him. Coach, we were wondering if he was going to be able to play in the second half. Didn't have much lift, didn't move very well. He's moving better today. Yeah,
he showed great physical and mental toughness yesterday. You see him struggling right there.
Mr. Double-Double. You see, yesterday was one of his double-doubles. Not one of his best, but maybe his grittiest. 10 points, 12 rebounds on just 6 shots, but really all of those coming off offensive rebounds or alley-oop plays. Not much in the half court, but we just saw a half-court bucket from him on the pick and roll and a chance to convert the three-point play.
So we've seen 52 minutes of basketball here yesterday and today. This is Bassey's first shot. Forget about basket. His first shot out of half-court offense. Charlotte's done a terrific job keeping him out. Actually, it's his second shot. He had that duck in for the dunk earlier. So 2 shots so far for Bassey. And when he gets the ball in the paint, he's going to make it almost all the time.
5 points and 5 rebounds so far for Bassey. Beg your pardon. I was reading the stat sheet wrong. Doesn't have a rebound yet, which is surprising.
Wow.
That's an anomaly. And that will change.
That's a super anomaly. But watch Charlotte's offense. One of the reasons he's not blocking shots or maybe getting the number of rebounds you're accustomed to is Supica plays outside. Normally, he'd be matched up Bassey against another big guy down around the block where he could block shots and get rebounds, but Supica takes him outside, and they surround Supica with cutters.
Stoppage in action here, 22 on the shot clock, 7:50 to go here in the first half. The officials are taking a look at something. As we mentioned yesterday, we're not in our usual spot on the floor. No announced team is on the floor anymore. You at least have to be 25 feet up. For us, I think it's 2,500 feet up. We're up in the nosebleeds as our stadium crew is getting the look for our officiating crew. It's different from yesterday. 3 new officials: Joey Richardson, James Hicks, and Alan Sutton. We'll let you know as soon as we find out what they're looking at. But here we are. We've got about 10 rows behind us. Obviously, no fans allowed. There are some family members allowed here, Coach, but 50, 60 fans total, and all either friends or family of players or coaches.
Yeah, people are being safe, which is what you need to do to have an event like this. And again, I think it's good for the players. I mentioned this yesterday. Basketball's been a part of their life since they were 7, 8 years old, probably for most of them, and they're doing what they love, and we're finding a safe way to do it.
And they were just looking at the clock. You see they adjusted the clock. There was 22 seconds on the shot clock, now 17. So I believe the shot clock and the game clock were either late to start or stopped at some point. So they've adjusted that. I'll show you here. The clock didn't start right here with 7:58 to go. So they were just pulling out the old stopwatch and timing it. And I think they're still working on it. I'm not sure. Did 13 seconds really go off there? I don't know. Well, we'll get it worked out.
Yeah, Charlotte's a really tough game for Bassey. First, because of their double teaming. Second, because they have all those 6'10" big, strong guys that can try to keep him out of the lane. But then on the other end, as I said, their big guys play outside, so he's not around the basket to block shots and get those rebounds in his area the way he normally might be.
All right, so we figured it out. 8 seconds ran off the clock, so they went back to 22 on the shot clock.
And there you see Bassey having to play defense out on the perimeter, help out on guards. It takes him away from the basket.
Young, top of the key for 3.
That was a perfect read on a pick and roll. They helped on Supeka rolling and left the shooter open.
Ties it up at 21. First 3 of the game for Charlotte. Anderson strong to the hoop, and he gets fouled by Williams. A couple of free throws coming up for Anderson, who's a really good free throw shooter, usually with these really athletic, high-flying dunker types. Often not great free throw shooters, but he is one of the best in Conference USA.
Yeah, does it on the defensive end, too. And he gets those dunks because not only steals on the defensive end and running the floor, but he's a terrific straight-line driver. If you give him space like that, he going to the basket is explosive. He doesn't have a lot of shake, not a lot of east-west. He's just going right for the rim, north-south.
Was a consensus 4-star recruit, top 60 in the country. And he's been a 4-year player for Rick Stansbury.
Here's something I think he could excel at the point of this press. He's long enough, athletic enough where he can create havoc at the top of that press.
And he often does. And you can hear Sanchez telling Bryce Williams to post up.
Yeah, Frampton, they wanted to get it to him. Frampton wasn't having any of it.
There's Williams for 3. Oh, yeah.
You know, the whole drive and kick opposite is a tried and true offensive fundamental. No one hugs their man opposite side of the court. So if you drive middle, kick opposite, Williams knocks down an open one, as he's been doing.
His first bucket of this game. He was 8 of 9 yesterday, 1 for 2 so far in this one. And Supeka clears the rebound for Charlotte with a 1-point lead, 6:20 to go in the first half.
Just 2 cuts, and West Kentucky just covers them until they break down, that is.
Williams crossed court, and that was tipped out of bounds by McKnight. 12 on the shot clock.
Yeah, Charlotte, there's roll, drive, and the kick opposite. Drive, kick opposite to that corner, that's going to be there. People help on the furthest man from the ball, and the furthest man from the ball is going to be that weak side corner, and that shooter's open if you can get middle penetration.
Oh, Shepard split the double team and then draws the foul at the rim.
So a battle within the battle of the game is who's going to get to the free throw line the most. Last year, Western Kentucky got to the free throw line more than anyone in the country. They got made, as we said yesterday, 136 more free throws than their opponents even attempted. But yesterday, Charlotte got more free throw attempts and more makes than even Western Kentucky. So getting to the line, both these teams are good at it, and it's a factor in this game.
Yeah, that never happens. We'll see if it happens again in this one. Hey, coming up next, we got more college basketball on Stadium. Utah State 3-0 in the Mountain West, taking on Air Force at 6 Eastern on Stadium. Welcome to the game. And I was looking at Utah State and what they've done so far in conference play. Utah State has outscored their opponents by about 38 points per game in their first 3 wins.
No, I've seen them. They're very skilled, very deep, very experienced, and going to have a terrific year.
Well, they tried to go high-low with the 2 big guys, Bassey to Williams, but that was too much for Williams to handle.
And the Charlotte Williams is the one who fronted and, made it necessary to get a lot of air underneath that lob, and frankly, too much air. But it all started, again, Williams' defense, not letting the Hilltopper Williams just duck in on him high-low, not having it. So much of post defense is just not letting your man get the ball in position, fronting.
Here's Young. Now you hear Ron Sanchez in the background saying, good shot, even though he missed it. It was a good shot. Bassey will take a three and miss it. He has not been a good three-point shooter throughout his career. He's now 2 for 14 in this season, but Rick Stansbury says he can shoot it. They just haven't fallen yet.
He can shoot it. As an opposing coach, I would prefer him shooting it out there than dunking on me in the paint.
Threadgill, too much on that. I think he was worried about Bassey coming up blocking his shot. Now Hollingsworth looks back to Stansbury and get a new call here. Kenny Cooper will take over at the point guard spot. There's Williams, finds the cutting Bassey.
We haven't seen it that much this weekend, but Williams and Bassey are an outstanding post-to-post passing combination. They really look for each other high-low. They get each other cutting. They have great chemistry together.
Well, both teams 9 for 17 from the floor. That's 53%. Good shooting first half.
And there's a couple factors to that compared to yesterday. Remember, yesterday was their first game in almost 2 weeks, and there's an adjustment playing against these different styles of defense. Charlotte doesn't see this kind of pressure in defense, pressure in practice, and Western Kentucky doesn't see this kind of condensed pack defense in practice either. Yesterday was an adjustment coming off a long layoff. Expect the offense to be better today.
Hollingsworth, a little bit strong. 25 all. As Bassey gets called for the foul, but he's been more active today than he was yesterday.
And here's a little big guy chemistry. Big guy to big guy with the dunk, taking care of each other. The Big Fellas Club.
All right, back here, tie ball game, 25 apiece. I'm Chris Hassel with Dr. John Giannini, and Doc, you've been really praising the managers for these teams and getting the teams back out there 22 hours later. And how about the guys that were injured yesterday, playing well? Well,
we talked about recovery being one of the 3 keys to the game, along with motivation and adjustments. Well, Supica to the left, he had a wrist injury. Frampton had an ankle injury. Bassey could barely move at the end of the game. And those 3 players look pretty good right now. And obviously, if either of those 3 key players are far less than 100% or not able to go, it has a big impact on the game. So these trainers and people behind the scenes are doing huge, impactful work for their teams and the individual players.
And Charlotte's wearing different uniforms. Western Kentucky wearing the same ones. Not wearing dirty ones, though. They got to clean them.
This is a thing. Like the student managers, they're doing that kind of stuff. These kids who are not on scholarship are up till 2, 3 in the morning doing laundry and getting things done. And just a lot of selfless people behind the scenes in college basketball that are part of the team and that you might not see the way we see these star players out there.
Jahmir Young up to 9 points to lead all scorers here in the first half. Carson Williams way too much on that jumper. Rossetto around the horn. Young top of the key. He likes that spot.
Charlotte punished the double team. When you double team the post, someone's open. They kick it out, find the open person, but you better not leave Young open. That's the wrong guy to leave open.
Now he's made both of his 3-point attempts from the top of the key. Both have been open looks. He's got 12. Anderson! Hammer time!
Wow. Wow. That was a legitimate tomahawk, bringing it way back and down in traffic.
Love watching him play because you get one of those incredible dunks once every couple games, but you're going to always get a couple dunks every game.
That was a nice play by Rossetto, but I'm still so excited about the tomahawk.
Yeah, we'll show that one to you next break in the action. Rawls got it. Boy, he needed that one. Was 1 for 8 yesterday.
And he had been playing well. He had 20 points off the bench and a big win on the road at Alabama. Again, he's one of my candidates for Conference USA 6th Man of the Year and getting on track a little here now.
He's guarding Matos down on the block. Matos takes him to school.
So getting the ball down low, high percentage shot, you got to front him. Can't let him catch it so easy.
Shot clock rolling down to 10. Rawls going baseline. Tough shot. Williams a strong rebound. Looking to go back up with it, but brought it down too low, and Matos with the steal.
Well, that was...
All right, that'll stay with Charlotte. 15 on the shot clock. We got to go back to the tomahawk slammer from Anderson.
Oh, my. And listen, Rossetto, if you play defense, but listen, sooner or later you're going to get posterized. You play against good players, that's going to happen to you. So nothing to not feel good about there, Rossetto. Good effort, but wow.
There's Rossetto. Oh, late foul call on Anderson.
So, again, resiliency. Rossetto is posterized over there, and then he comes back and makes a baby hook. Now he gets fouled. I like guys who are resilient. Something bad happens, well, let's have a short memory loss and get back to doing something positive. Rossetto's done that.
Yeah, before Anderson slammed it in his face, Rossetto had not scored at all this weekend. But then he came down, made a bucket, and now chance at the free throw line. Missed the first. He'll get one more.
Love the resiliency. His teammates are still going to get on him about that, though, when those highlights come out.
Missed both of the free throw attempts. He's just 4 for 12 on the season. Not a good free throw shooter. There's a 4-second difference, shot clock and game clock. Rick Stansbury takes the timeout that you can't take with you to the second half. Hey, we've got more Conference USA basketball coming your way next weekend. Charlotte visiting Marshall for back-to-back games Friday and Saturday. That Friday game is at 6 Eastern, Saturday at 4 Eastern on Stadium. The only free 24/7 network available on both television and digital devices without a cable subscription. Stadium, welcome to the game.
So Charlotte gets preseason number 1 first weekend, then preseason number 3 for their second weekend. Tall early task for Charlotte in terms of strength of schedule, playing 2 terrific teams in their first 4 conference games.
Yeah, Marshall had just 1 non-conference loss, but lost on the road in a close one yesterday to Louisiana Tech. They'll play once again tonight at 7 o'clock. Western Kentucky received 11 of the 14 votes in the preseason poll. North Texas, the defending champion in the regular season, with Marshall there in 3rd in the preseason poll. Again, 4-second difference, shot clock and game clock here. Kenny Cooper picked up the dribble, and Rawls threw it away.
Pack defense. We talked about executing it better this game, and there was just nowhere for the Hilltoppers to drive. The gaps were taken. They end up throwing the ball out of bounds.
So Charlotte's got the last shot here. 5 seconds to go. Young. Oh, great feed to Supika. And that is how the first half will end. A no-look pass from Jameer Young to Milos Supika. Those two have combined for 20 points in the first half.
Big momentum play over here. Young draws 2 defenders. He knows as soon as 2 guys are on me, my job is done. Deliver it to the open man.
All right, so Charlotte, a lot like yesterday, great first half and a halftime lead. Yesterday they led by 8, today by 6. Question is, will they be able to hold it? Don't go anywhere. We've got the halftime show coming up. Charlotte enjoying their largest lead of the game here at halftime, a 6-point lead over Western Kentucky. As we take a look back at the first half highlights, Western Kentucky scored the first 4 points of this game, Coach.
Western Kentucky's identity is inside. If you double Bassey, he'll find the open man. Someone's got to be open. On the other end, spread out people in the Charlotte offense, opens up the lane for cutting. If you double there, they'll find the open man. Young got a couple open threes. And then the whole house came down. Oh, my goodness. The tomahawk. Man, that's some above the rim fun.
Josh Anderson is fun to watch, but it hasn't been enough. Even though they're shooting 50%, Western Kentucky, a couple of key categories that they have no second chance points. They only have a couple fast break points, and they've been outscored in the paint in the first half. All right, just a couple minutes away from the start of the second half as Charlotte tries to pull off the split here against Western Kentucky, the preseason favorites in Conference USA. Well, we're pretty much in the same spot we were yesterday at this time, with Charlotte holding a lead at halftime. They were up 8 yesterday at half. Today up 6. Same point total. The difference today, they only had 3 players score in the first half yesterday. Today they've spread it out. 7 different players have scored.
And Coach Sanchez will always be more concerned with his defense and discipline than who's scoring. Obviously, better balance is important, but their identity is their defense, so they need to stay consistent. The highlights, 0 offensive rebound baskets for the Hilltoppers and only 2 in transition. So Charlotte's boxing out. They're getting back on defense. They're in control of those things. They have to stay disciplined and consistent.
Charlotte with the ball, looking to extend on their largest lead of the game. Milos Supica kind of undercut Anderson, but Anderson was the one that went into the air for that head fake and gets called for the foul.
Yeah, those middle pick and rolls in this game have been effective for Supica. That's the 3rd time this game he's got the ball to score and get fouled. You want to see Charlotte maybe do that some more. What I mean by middle ball screen is any pick and roll between the lane lines around the top of the key.
Ooh, Shepard was running out of time there and fired it over in the corner for Young, and it was a little bit too low, so a turnover for Charlotte. Leading scorers for Western Kentucky, Anderson with 8. Charles Bassey has 7. For Charlotte, it's Jahmir Young, 12 points to lead all scorers. Supica also has 8.
That was just a big-time defensive play by Supica with the steal on the post feed. Bassey can't score if he can't get it.
Matos to the cutting Young, and he gets fouled by Anderson. That's number 3. So 2 quick fouls in the second half, and Anderson might have to take a seat.
Actually very good help by Anderson. He prevented an easy basket. It was, well, Young was wide open on that cut until Anderson jumped in there to disrupt it.
Well, he stays out there. Surprised at all? What was your philosophy on that, Coach?
You know, it differs. Usually the big question is, what do you do with 2 fouls in the first half? So 3 early in the second. The analytics people will say players rarely foul out. The coaches are too conservative. Leave your good players in the game.
20 on the shot clock for Charlotte.
Comes a down screen for Shepard, or for Young, I'm sorry.
And he gets it on the wing down to Supica, guarded by Bassey. The double team help from Anderson leaves Matos open, but he missed the 3. And now Kenny Cooper, a lane to the hoop.
So we said that Charlotte has to stop the Hilltoppers' fast break. They only had 2 fast break points. Well, early in the second half, there's a breakdown already. They have to be more consistent with their box outs and transition defense.
Supica passes up a wide open 15-footer. Little hook shot, a sweeping hook was short, and Bassey the board. Here comes Western. Hollingsworth takes it all the way, and you can count it, plus the foul.
He's the master of the mid-range and floater. That's how he's on track for potentially 2,000 points in his career. He's scored over 1,600 with that exact type of shot. Floaters, mid-range, not as much a three-point shooter, but really good going to the basket.
Made his 113th consecutive start in this game.
So to put that in perspective, that's the most of any active player in the country. So for the 4,000 or so Division I basketball players, no one has started as many consecutive games as Hollingsworth. He's having a historic career here at Western Kentucky.
From Kentucky Mr. Basketball to just a day in, day out gamer for Rick Stansbury. And Western turns Charlotte over. They've scored the first 5 points of this second half, and now a chance to take the lead. Here's more on Hollingsworth. And just a great career that he's finishing up here in his senior season, though with COVID-19 and the new rules, he could elect to come back if he would like to. 4th in Conference USA this season, averaging over 16 points per game. Last season, I beg your pardon. There were a few games where he went north of 30. I mean, he really had to carry this team with Bassey out.
Yeah, they have a lot of talent on this roster. That's why they're picked preseason #1.
Now Bassey again just cannot find the touch from outside. He's missed all of his jump shots this weekend. And it gets blown by Shepard and one.
Charlotte has more points in the paint than Western Kentucky. They've gone to the free throw line more. Usually the more aggressive team wins, and these kind of drives like Shepard right here with the old school and one, those are aggressive plays, and Charlotte is making more of those.
It's amazing that they've outscored Western Kentucky in the paint in this game. Yesterday, it was 38-18, a 20-point advantage for the Hilltoppers.
Western Kentucky's identity is points in the paint and going to the free throw line. Charlotte's beating them at their own game.
And the lead back up to 4 for the 49ers. Nice help as we're seeing some impactful minutes from Jared Garcia once again. And a foul called. Matos gets called for it. A wry smile from the transfer from Dayton.
Garcia was so impactful in those 3 minutes yesterday. Only 3 minutes, but when he left the game, Charlotte had their first lead in a while late, and were in position to win the game because of his contributions. A charge, a block.
Long cross-court pass, and Cooper tried to send it right back, and Matos gets the steal.
There's the middle pick and roll. They've had success with, covered well that time.
And now the shot clock dwindling down to 5. Matos gets fouled with 4 on the shot clock. It was before the shot, so they'll have it underneath.
It's a bit of a matchup, mismatch. Somehow Williams, the power forward for Western Kentucky, got matched up against Matos. Whenever a guard's matched up against a big guy, got to drive him immediately, no hesitation. And that's what worked for Matos on that play.
And Young will take the 3. Williams never got a hand in his face.
Well, that time, Williams guarding the 6'2" Young. You know, why is Williams getting switched onto these guards? That's a mismatch. That's asking too much from him, for quite frankly. Not many 260-pound guys guarding guards.
A great hook pass down low to Bassey. Beautifully done by the freshman Davion McKnight. A whistle because the ball got away.
So that's the second time they've got that duck in play for Bassey. Western Kentucky should probably keep going to that. That's almost unstoppable, getting Bassey the ball that deep in the paint. Feed the big fella.
Offensive foul on Charlotte. Western Kentucky with the ball once again, down by 5. The foul goes on Garcia.
See if they try to go back inside again.
And Williams posting up on Matos.
Charlotte has a 4-guard lineup.
Well, it's offensive foul. Williams.
He extended his arms, and he didn't need to.
Well, Jahmir Young leading all scorers with 15 points. He's hit all 3 of his threes. Charles Bassey with an easy bucket down low, but Western still trails by 5. Charlotte up by 5, 15:53 to go in this one. Jahmir Young leading all scorers with 15 points. Led DeMatha High School to a state championship 3 years ago. Came in here to Charlotte and was a surprising freshman of the year. He really took the conference by storm, and this season averaging over 19 points a game, 3rd in the conference, and those numbers just keep going up because he keeps going north of 20. Went for 23 last game, 15 in this one. And the first time I did a Charlotte game last year, talked to Ron Sanchez, asked him about Young, and he mentioned 2 names, Joe Harris and Klay Thompson. Those were a couple comparisons for Jahmir Young.
That's highest praise, obviously. And I'm impressed that he's doing it as a preseason all-conference selection. So, as we said earlier, he is at the top of everyone's scouting report. Everyone knows they have to stop him. No one's been able to do it so far.
Certainly don't want to leave him open deep. He's been deadly from outside. Had a potential look at a 3 there, but McKnight got there in time.
Terrific defense by McKnight.
And a rolling miss from Shepard. Used the right hand on the left side of the hoop. We have a carrying violation on McKnight. Don't see that too often.
Not in the open court. And the rule is that if you put your hand underneath the basketball and, in effect, carry it, don't dribble with the hand on top, you get that carrying call.
Unless it's the NBA, right?
Well, Allen Iverson had the best carry/crossover ever, and really that became an Iverson rule. College decided we're not going to have that move in our game.
Matos, a lot more impressive today than yesterday when he did not score. He fouled out, but in this one, 6 points, 3 of 6 from the floor. Made some big plays.
Most importantly, another basket in the paint. Driving hard is paying off for Charlotte.
Outscoring Western Kentucky 24-22 in the paint after being outscored by 20 yesterday. Enjoying right now their largest lead of the game, and you can up that to 9. Matos backdoor, use the reverse, and the rim as protection against Bassey, the great shot blocker, and a great pass from Jared Garcia.
3rd time a Hilltopper big man was matched up against the Charlotte guard. It's something you don't want. You don't want your big guys covering guards. They're just not quick like that.
All right, well, back-to-back buckets, and Charlotte is up by 9. Western Kentucky gonna need a late run once again. Couple of big buckets from Jerry Matos here in the second half for Charlotte. He's got 8 points in this game, going backdoor to give him a 9-point lead before the timeout. This is a transfer from Dayton under Anthony Grant, and this season has really upped his numbers for Ron Sanchez. And we were talking with Coach Sanchez this week, and he said, boy, I'm reaping the benefits of the great job that Anthony Grant did with Matos. Really had a great head on his shoulders coming in and knew how to play the game. Doesn't have to teach him much.
Yeah, both also from the Dominican Republic. In fact, Coach Sanchez has coached the Dominican Republic national team, and something else important that they had in common.
Really wanted him because they lost some leadership off last year's team, whether it be graduation or transfer. Some players wanted to be closer to home. Here comes Matos, and boy, the old announcer jinx. You see it with kickers in the football game, and Matos went behind his back and went right off his foot.
Did a little too much, going a little too fast, but those are mistakes that happen in the game. It's never a perfect game.
Well, Western Kentucky, 15 turnovers in this game. That's as many as they had all of last game.
This Charlotte defense makes you force things.
Hollingsworth, no, but a foul. Williams gets tagged with that one. Ron Sanchez thought that Williams was just standing there outside the circle.
No, he was not in front of the ball handler, and Hollingsworth hit him in the shoulder. To get a charge, you got to be square in front of the driver. You kind of got to be hitting the sternum, not the shoulder.
So Western Kentucky, before this free throw, they've only attempted 6 free throws tonight. Charlotte's attempted 11. I mean, you just never see that from Rick Stansbury coach teams. They get to the line a lot more. For some reason this weekend, they really haven't been able to.
It's the pack line defense. It's hard to get in the paint against Charlotte.
And they've made every one of them so far. 8 for 8.
The other key thing here is Western Kentucky only has 3 steals. Yesterday they had 12 steals, and it led to 20 points. Just stealing and going pick sixes, kind of where you steal and score, and they're not getting those easy baskets today. 1-3-1 right now for Western Kentucky.
Out of bounds with 16 on the shot clock. You may have noticed that note at the top of the screen a moment ago. Every 2-point field goal that Charlotte has made has been in the paint. 13 for 22.
Analytics people will love this, and Young and Shepard make mid-range shots, but the analytics people will say it's all about points in the paint and threes, and that's the formula Charlotte's using today.
Shepard on the cross court, stepped out of bounds.
Pet play is my pet peeve. So you do shooting drills all day. You do shooting drills in the corner and wing. You have to shorten up your footwork over there. You have to know where the sideline is. So many players step out of bounds, and I just don't understand it.
Harder than it used to be with the line moving back a few years ago, and they continue to move it back. Hollingsworth, oh boy, hesitated. Bassey tips it once, tipped it twice, still tipping it around, but Charlotte's got it. Here comes Young. Oh, great hustle from Anderson, but Shepard's got it now. And oh, it was a good job by Garcia to just go straight up with it, but might have rushed it just a touch. Hollingsworth this time gets it to go off the square, and it's back to a 5-point game, under 13 to play.
Yeah, Hollingsworth is going to have spurts in every game. He's too talented, too experienced not to go off at some point in the game.
He's got 9 points in this one. And that's going to go against Charlotte.
Garcia stuck out his left elbow on that screen. He's acting perplexed, but Coach Sanchez knows he's showing him exactly what he did right there.
And you could read his lips. He says, stop and listen. Coaching the youngster up. Garcia, true freshman from Katy, Texas, gave him some great minutes late in the game yesterday when Rossetto fouled out and you had Supica out with an injury. So rewarding him with some minutes in this one as well. Here comes Davion McKnight. He's been pretty quiet on the offensive end.
Look at this, though. They're trying to drive, but they're not getting paint touches. They're keeping them out of the paint and then contesting Frampton.
Anderson skies for the board, up with it and in with it.
So they tried to execute, it didn't work, so it had to come down to the effort of Anderson with a big putback.
Anderson into double figures with 10 points. Western Kentucky trailed by 9 moments ago. Young missed for the first time from three-point range. He was 3 for 3 before that miss. And now Rawls cross court. Frampton, extra pass. Anderson for 3. Too strong. Bassey the board. He was falling over, so he just threw it up. And look at Anderson trying to help him up.
5 on 4. Nice job with the Hilltoppers recovering there.
And a timeout call by Ron Sanchez. 16 seconds on the shot clock. We're going to take a quick timeout. Got another good one. Went down to the wire yesterday. Western Kentucky won by 4. Charlotte right now up by 3. Nighttime upon us once again in Charlotte as the 49ers look to close this one out today. Unlike last night, 46-43 lead. Charlotte just 18 points in the paint yesterday, but already 26 in this one.
The most efficient shot in basketball are shots at the rim. That's what gives you the most points per shot. The next are open threes, especially catch and shoot threes in rhythm. Threes off the dribble, lower percentage, but these team-oriented ball movement threes where you catch it in rhythm, those are highly efficient shots, and Charlotte is doing a terrific job getting the most efficient shots possible at the rim and off catch and shoot rhythm threes.
Yeah, they don't shoot a lot of threes. They've only taken 9 in this game, but they take them when they're open. 4 for 9, that's 44%. Good clip in this game for the 49ers, and in position once again to beat the team that many of us expect to win Conference USA this season, the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. It's Charlotte basketball, 16 on the shot clock with 10:54 to go in this game. Even in the paint. Western Kentucky was plus 20 in the paint yesterday. Shot clock down to 5. And that one tipped away. Western forces the turnover. Rawls, no. Tip, no. And Supica muscles his way for it. They're going to get a jump ball, though. Possession arrow will keep it with Western Kentucky.
That play started with a nice deflection and some play breaking by Anderson. And Andrews doing a terrific job defensively, as he always does. It's not just the steals, it's deflections, it's guarding mismatches. Well, they have Shepard getting into things a little bit over there with Rawls.
Now Rawls curls around. Frampton will put it in. It's an 8-0 run for Western Kentucky. A 9-point lead down to 1.
2 curls, the second one gets a layup, and Charlotte has not been good on out of bounds under defense this weekend.
Change it out! Change it out! Back up front!
Shepard splitting the double team and floating it in. First field goal in 5 minutes, about 4.5 minutes, I should say, for Charlotte.
Well, there's a mid-range shot right there. One of the few that we've seen, but again, Shepard, Young, Hollingsworth are pretty good mid-range.
Ooh, Davion McKnight finds his way to the paint. So back-to-back paint buckets for Western Kentucky.
Mid-range will never be more efficient than that. A shot at the rim with the power of McKnight.
A whistle and a foul on Josh Anderson. That'll be number 4. We saw Frampton come alive from three-point range yesterday. How about at the rim?
Well, when your man chases you around a screen, it's an automatic curl. I don't understand why Young, who's guarding the inbounder, isn't standing with his head under the basket preventing that pass. So that's the third basket this weekend on that exact same play that Charlotte's given up.
Anderson takes a seat with 4 fouls. 9.5 minutes to play in the game. Threadgill faked the 3, gets blocked at the rim by Williams, then blocked from behind by Frampton, and Rawls controls it. Rawls trying to take it all the way, and that's out of bounds off Rawls.
We've talked about mismatches between big guys and guards. When Williams picks up a guard, it's not a mismatch. On the other end, you see multiple blocks over here. Number 1 by Williams, then Frampton, the three-point shooter, saying, let me get in on the block party.
5 blocks for Western Kentucky, none for Charlotte. Threadgill in the corner, got it. Couldn't find the range yesterday, but squares that one in, and Charlotte's lead is 4.
Charlotte would like to see Threadgill stretch the defense the way Frampton does for the Hilltoppers. They think he has that kind of shooting range and ability.
Hollingsworth spinning and scoring.
What a terrific one-on-one player Hollingsworth is. And the best place to go one-on-one or do a lot of things is from the top of the key, the middle of the floor, because there's no defined help side there.
Shepherd, nifty handling, and Williams an open three, no good. Hasn't had the success that he had yesterday when he had a career-high 21. McKnight lost it. Another turnover. That's number 17 for Western Kentucky. I mentioned Williams. He has 21 points yesterday, just 5 so far this evening. Young faked the three, and Frampton tried to help. Suppica, the extra possession. Williams, that's what he did so well yesterday, that 15 to 19-foot jumper, but the shot's not there today. 1 for 4 after an 8 for 9 performance. Rolls, gives Western Kentucky the lead.
We talked about consistency and boxing out, but also transition defense. That time, Charlotte had 2 players on 1. That left walls open. Lack of communication on transition defense.
Western Kentucky's made their last 4 field goals. 7:05 to play, and it's looking a lot like yesterday. Charlotte with the lead most of the game. Threadgill knocking down the 3, but Western Kentucky taking the lead in the final 10 minutes. Now Western Kentucky trying to come up with a road sweep of the weekend here in Charlotte. They've taken a 1-point lead, making their last 4 shots. Campus Insiders, your place for the latest news and information in college basketball, with our insiders Jeff Goodman and Rob Doster giving insight on the landscape of college basketball. It's every Wednesday at 6 Eastern on Stadium. Welcome to the game. Well, 49ers shot at about 54% in the first half, 40% in the second half, while Western Kentucky has shot it really well. They've made their last 4 and have gone on this run. They went from down 9 to up 1.
So to beat the best team in your league, which it looks like Western Kentucky is predicted to be that, and most people would agree is the most talented, you really have to maintain your discipline, your consistency, because they make you pay for the mistakes you make. And whether it's boxing out or picking people up in transition, which they didn't do the last time Rawls made a 3, Charlotte really has to be consistent and disciplined with their defensive fundamentals.
Well, Threadgill missed the front end of a 1-and-1. Just his 3rd free throw attempt of the season. Hollingsworth takes it, and he'll get 2 at the line. That's the 6th team foul for Charlotte, so Western is also going to be shooting the rest of the way as well. Hollingsworth 11 points and 5 rebounds. A first-team All-Conference USA player last year. 3rd-teamer the year before, and then all-freshman teamer the year before that. Just a consistent player. Rick Stansbury says he doesn't always see everybody around him, but he always sees the hoop. He drives to score.
So 2 things that are really correlated are the scoreboard and the paints in the point. The Hilltoppers are starting to make up that deficit and starting to get to the rim more consistently, and that's their identity, and that's why they've made this run to take the lead here.
Now outscoring Charlotte 32 to 28 in the paint, and in the second half 16 to 8.
Yeah, that's the difference.
And McKnight got his hand on it.
5-on-4.
Shepherd takes advantage, uses the head fake. Thought he might have used 1 too many head fakes, but he was able to get it in over Bassi.
Bassi normally would have blocked that. He's not 100%.
Yeah, he was over on the exercise bike once again just a few minutes ago. Saw him on that yesterday. And the back injury against Alabama in December, sat out a game on the 22nd of December. Thought they might get him right with basically he had a two-week break between games, but re-aggravated that thing yesterday. But he has moved around to this point better today than yesterday. Would you agree?
It is better. Coach Stansbury said that he literally did not do anything basketball related on the court from the 22nd until that game yesterday. So they've just been doing rehab and treatment, trying to get him out here this weekend. But that clearly explains why he might not have his normal explosion.
And 9 points, 5 rebounds. Came into the weekend averaging 18 points and 11 rebounds. He was 8th in the nation in rebounds per game, 2nd in the nation in blocks per game.
And number 1 in dunks. Basically, if it had to do with something in the paint, that's his house down there. He rules the roost when it comes to that area around the basket.
He had a couple dunks yesterday, but none so far today. Western Kentucky up by 3. Supica was calling for it inside. Bassey comes over and switches. And a nice backdoor cut. Young, first bucket since the 16:38 mark.
That's what they're trying to do with this offense. Get the ball at the high post, cut off the high post, and if the defense breaks down, lay it.
McKnight finds Hollingsworth, gets into the paint again. Oh, he's so good at finding the creases.
Yeah, both these teams really aggressive in following their identities right now. The spread cutting offense of Charlotte and the driving offense of the Hilltoppers.
Matos finds the open Williams. Supica the board. Young got shoved by McKnight. I think they're going to get Davion for the foul. And look at the backdoor cut for Young, who had gone over 10 minutes without a bucket.
That was really threading the needle. And people who run that offensive system say, don't be afraid to throw it to the cutter. Even off the run, one-hand passes, they think they could get it in there, thread the needle as they just did there. Really hard to guard. Remember, with the big man at the elbow and the high post, there's no shot blocker around the basket. So that backdoor cut, if you can complete it, gets you those layups.
Well, that's 2 front-end 1-and-1 misses for Charlotte. And Bassey had it and gets fouled with 4:53 to go. That'll send Bassey to the free throw line for a 1-and-1. 67% free throw shooter.
That duck in play has been the Hilltoppers' best way to get Bassey the ball in deep.
1 for 1 at the line tonight. And Rick Stansbury out on the court having a chat with a couple of his players. So Bassey waited until he was done. Earns another free throw. This ties the largest lead of the game for Western Kentucky. They scored the first 4 points of the game. Charlotte once again has led for the majority of the game, just like yesterday when they led by as many as 11. Today they've led by as many as 9. And it's like deja vu. Same 2 teams, and really we might be heading to the same result. Western Kentucky has made all 14 of its free throws. It's the little things, Coach. You know it.
Everything matters in these games. Yesterday was a 1-possession game. Came down to the last play. That means one play here or there changes everything, including the free throws.
Now Shepard. It's the screen from Supica. Tried to go down low to Young. It was tipped out of bounds. 11 on the shot clock. Charlotte retains possession. They'll run the inbounds action. It's a huge possession here for Charlotte. They need some points, and they'll have a chance at the free throw line as Shepard gets bumped. And he'll go to the line for a 1-and-1. He's a 67% free throw shooter, and that's it for Anderson. So that's a big one. Number 5, Josh Anderson, picks up his 5th foul, and he is out with 10 points.
The Hilltoppers are deep, but that is a significant loss. So Frampton comes in, you get more shooting, but maybe not the same level of defense and rebounding that you had with Anderson. But I'll tell you what, now they do have 4 guards out there and 4 guys who can make a 3. So they might not be as good defensively with Anderson out, but offensively, this is a pretty potent Hilltopper lineup.
Oh, my goodness. 3 front end of 1-and-1 misses for Charlotte. That's basically like missing 6 in a row.
Exactly. Yeah, those are painful, but you got to be resilient and move on.
Western Kentucky with its largest lead of the game at 5. And now Bassey. Hollingsworth again gets into the paint. They're looking for a goaltend there. There was a foul call, but no goaltending. So 2 free throws coming at the 4-minute mark here. And that will take us to the timeout before these free throws, and we'll take a look at what Hollingsworth was arguing about. Made that move, gets fouled there, flips it up. It was tipped, but was it on the way up? Yeah, I think it was. Good call. Western Kentucky looking to sweep the weekend here in Charlotte. 5-point lead, 4 minutes to go. We got a lot of different conferences that are trying this out. This back-to-back weekend game matchups. We've seen it already in the Valley, and we've seen some really wild splits from game 1 to game 2. It's tough to sweep a weekend.
It really is. The losing team comes out highly motivated. They'll make some adjustments. A lot of times the winning team will have a little sense of complacency, and we know having that edge means everything. Beating someone twice, 2 nights in a row, same court, very difficult.
Yeah, you saw some of those scores. I mean, one team would win by 15 the first night and then lose by 10 the second night. So you just don't know.
In that Vermont NJIT game, Vermont was up 30-6 on the first night against NJIT and then lost the next. In the NBA, the Bucks beat the Heat by 47 and lost by 11 the next day. A 58-point swing.
It's hard to make sense of it. It really is. But that's kind of what we're dealing with, at least for one season here in this COVID world we're currently living in. Western Kentucky has made every free throw, 16 for 16, Coach.
So 2-3 zone, which I love for Western Kentucky because it keeps the big man in the paint. Bassey can stay right next to the rim, block shots, let the other people extend.
And Young, this would be a big one. Oh, boy, they really needed that. Western Kentucky on a 6-0 run.
Going zone after a timeout also negates whatever man-to-man play Coach Sanchez or the other coach draws up, too. Good time to go zone.
It's a 25-9 run for Western Kentucky after they fell behind by 9. And now the shot clock to 3. Bassey airballed it. Young the rebound. And McKnight's slow to get up. Matos passed up an open look. Shepard a better 3-point shooter. And he hits it.
Big shot. Nice skip pass. And Charlotte clearly within striking distance. Plenty of time left.
4-point game. And it's going to be a turnover. Charlotte with numbers. Matos reverses. It's a 2-point game with 2.5 to go. Great response from the Niners.
And a lot of it started with Superca's defense on the ball screen, forcing that turnover.
Here, Ron Sanchez yelling out orders defensively. And, boy, that's a tough foul there. Superca on the hedge fouls Hollingsworth, who will go to the line for a 1-and-1. And that is 5 on Milos Superca. Big loss.
The last several times, Superca's hedge was early. He was there ahead of time. The guard had nowhere to go. This time he gets out just a little late. And clearly a foul. But I'm surprised because he had been so early previous to that.
Beg your pardon, not 5 on Supica. He's still in the ball game. I believe that was foul number 2 on Milos Supica. Count a little bit off. So, whoa, he almost tipped over. Hollingsworth able to convert both free throws as Western Kentucky stays perfect at the free throw line. They are 18 for 18. Young. Oh, wow, he made that shot tough and still made it.
Oh, my goodness. Not only the spin, but then the scoop over Bassey. Wow, what an individual play, one-on-one battle.
19 for Young to lead Charlotte. 2-point game, 1:45 to go. Hollingsworth called for the charge.
Coach Sanchez says, Matt Hose asked him every game, I want to guard the other team's best guard. That time, he got what he wanted. Up against the Hilltoppers' best guards. Move his feet, hands back, and draws the charge. Big-time defensive play from a guy who wants to go up against the other team's best.
So Charlotte a chance to tie or take the lead with 90 seconds to play in another great matchup between these two teams. Western Kentucky came back to win by 4 last night. Supica ties it up.
Impressive finish. Great job by Young, keeping his dribble alive. He was like a quarterback extending the play, just waiting for someone to get open, and Supica comes through.
And remember, Josh Anderson fouled out of this game for Western Kentucky. Bassey tries to go baseline on Supica and lost it.
Williams double teams, won't show up in a box score, but they've been huge in terms of stopping Bassey and forcing him away from the basket.
7th tie of the game.
I'd go 2 for 1 here, but I don't think Charlotte is.
Shepard missed it. They do get the 2 for 1.
Yeah, they'll get it.
About a 9-second difference, shot clock and game clock, and it looks like Rick Stansbury is going to call a timeout.
This is what it's all about now, stops and scores. Both teams are 1 stop and score away from leaving here very happy.
Both teams in the double bonus. Charlotte has the possession arrow and the momentum in this game. Let's look back at the last couple possessions for the Charlotte 49ers.
There's the terrific one-on-one play with the scoop finish. And then look at Young, keep the dribble, keep it alive. Who's open? Oh, Supica. Then Supica using the left, ambidextrous, protecting the ball from Bassey.
All right, so Charlotte in a tie ball game, 64 to 64. Western Kentucky has the basketball. If you're Rick Stansbury, what's your offensive set?
It's Hollingsworth. It'll probably be some kind of down screen into a handoff or a ball screen. And Hollingsworth will probably get on the left wing, which allows him to drive middle. But it'll be something on that side that allows him to go right or in the middle, because Bassey just is frankly out of sorts. The double teams are working. He's frustrated with some turnovers. McKnight would be a great option, but I have a feeling that Coach Stansbury will make the veteran Hollingsworth his first option. But if you help off Hollingsworth wherever he's driving, they're going to put Frampton in a position either in the opposite corner or behind Hollingsworth, whereas if his man helps at all, the next option, Frampton for a 3.
Any foul sends Western Kentucky to the line for 2. 23 on the shot clock.
So Hollingsworth is starting on the right wing. If he runs to the other side, the place for him for sure.
Davion McKnight, the true freshman, has it, and here is Hollingsworth.
Middle ball screen, they're keeping it simple.
Hollingsworth drives, throws it up, can't get the roll. Bassey tipped it, but Matos has it. Shot clock is off. Charlotte is shooting for the win.
Go for the last shot here. Don't let the Hilltoppers have a chance.
10 seconds. Young with 5 seconds. Over to Williams for 3. It's short. McKnight's got it. Frampton can't get it off in time, and we have overtime.
Not a great shot, But credit the Western Kentucky defense, and they got it at the right time where the Hilltoppers didn't really get a good look themselves.
Well, yesterday's game was tight. Charlotte blew a 11-point lead. Western Kentucky grabbed the lead and never gave it back. Kind of thought the same thing was happening this evening. Charlotte led by 9 in the second half. Western Kentucky came back, took the lead, looked like they were going to be able to hold on, maybe even run away with the thing. They were up by 7 with 4 minutes to go, but what a job by Charlotte.
Both teams have been resilient. Both games have been extremely evenly played. Remember, yesterday's game was in doubt up until the very final seconds, so these are hard-fought games, and every possession matters.
Well, these two teams just play close games. Flashback to the last couple of times these teams played. This was last season at Western Kentucky. Jordan Shepard, game winner with 2 seconds left to beat Western Kentucky. And then yesterday, Shepard put Charlotte up 1 with 2 minutes to go. But a big offensive rebound put back from Charles Bassey, and Western Kentucky was able to win by 4. It was actually closer than that. It was a 1-point game, final 10 seconds. And we've got 5 more minutes on the board. Both teams in the double bonus. But Western Kentucky short-handed. They've got the depth, but Josh Anderson fouled out of this game.
So it's Charlotte's a tough matchup for the Hilltoppers, and I really think Western Kentucky's going to get better as a result of this series, having to guard that Princeton concept offense with all those cutters and drawing Bassey away. I think that they're getting a lot of reps covering some really hard to guard action, and Western Kentucky will benefit from playing this team. And again, and also Charlotte's defense, it's everything I expected it to be. They make games, grinded out affairs. You get nothing easy when you play Charlotte. Just a really well-schooled, hard-nosed, resilient, unselfish team.
Coming up on many of these channels, including Stadium, we've got Utah State at Air Force. Utah State trying to stay unbeaten in conference play. That game is available on the Stadium app. And we've got business to tend to. Western Kentucky with the opening possession here in overtime, looking to get to 2-0 and sweep the weekend as Hollingsworth trips, falls. It's going to stay with Western Kentucky with 9 on the shot clock.
Matt Host is doing a really good job on Hollingsworth in one-on-one situations. Keeping his hands back, not fouling, staying in front of him, using his size.
And they're wiping up the spot on the floor where Hollingsworth fell.
I think that's going to be the key matchup right now, Matos against Hollingsworth on this end. Here's this out-of-bounds play that's been working.
Hollingsworth again. He now has 23.
Yeah, he's done it his whole career.
That leads all scores. Western Kentucky up by 2. Young down low to Williams. He struggled with the shot today, but comes up big there. We're tied at 66.
That was big time. The play broke down, and Williams moved without the ball to an open spot and made the little turnaround off the move.
Minute gone by in the overtime session. Bassey hands it off to Hollingsworth, who hits the deck. Didn't travel with it, got up smartly before picking up the basketball.
Lucky that wasn't a tripping call.
McKnight can't get it to go, but he will get 2 free throws.
I'm not sure that second one was a foul on Superca, but I think that first call that they didn't make on the hedge, it looked like he tripped Hollingsworth. But it ended up evening out for the Hilltoppers at the end. They still get their 2 free throws.
And McKnight, the best free throw shooter on this Western Kentucky team, 19 for 20 on the season. And he missed it.
You and your curses. Right,
that's
Chris?
the first miss of the night for Western Kentucky. They were 18 for 18.
Yeah, that's a great shooting performance as a team. Every point matters.
A reminder, Utah State and Air Force on many of these channels, including Stadium, coming up after we're done. Shepard driving past Hollingsworth. Missed it, and Bassey the board. Knight finds the open Rawls. Bassey over the top and over the back.
An old school box out makes the difference on that play.
Number 3 on Bassey.
And that's fundamental consistency. There's Supaka, just get inside position, make contact, keep Bassey off the glass, force him to go over the back. That's the kind of consistency that Coach Sanchez was looking for. Do the right thing, box out consistently, get back on defense consistently. Don't give up anything easy.
And it puts Supaka at the line for 2, gets the roll on the first. Remember, they had those 3 straight trips to the line where they missed the front end of a 1-and-1. They fell behind by 7 in the final minutes, but were able to come back and force overtime.
You're right, Chris. You could easily argue that free throw shooting was the difference in the last 5-6 minutes to the Hilltoppers' favor.
Charlotte by 1, under 3 to go in the first overtime. McKnight backing down Young, out to Rawls, another look at it 3, another one short, and that one's out of bounds off of Young. So it's Western Kentucky ball as the shot clock resets to 20.
It's an isolation play for McKnight, shows phenomenal confidence in the freshman to put the ball in his hands, and he made the right play. Rawls had a wide open one, just didn't knock it down, but great decision by McKnight and ability to draw defensive help.
Bassey calling for it down low.
That was the duck and play that's been working, but Supaka staying in front.
Hollingsworth to Bassey. 2 on the shot clock. Hollingsworth has to hoist and misses.
Terrific defensive possession.
Next up for these teams, Charlotte's going to make a trip to Marshall. Question is, are they going to be 0-2 or 1-1?
They're fighting their guts out to make it 1-1.
That one rims off, and with under 2 to go, Western Kentucky a chance to take the lead once again.
Such an evenly matched game.
And a drive, a scoop, no. Bassey tipped it a couple of times, but Young's got the rebound. He's running. Little Euro step. And they're going to get Frampton for the foul. So 2 free throws coming for Jahmir Young. 4 for 5 at the line tonight.
Young in the open court. Euro step. And then drawing the foul against Frampton. And Frampton's a little confused, and I don't mind his question, because remember, you could jump straight up inside that charge circle, and I think that's what Frampton feels that he did.
I don't think he made contact on the shot, but he came down on it.
Yeah. And you know what else he did, though? He jumped with his legs spread and actually created contact that way. So you're entitled to the space above you, but if you kick your legs out, you're not entitled to that space. And I think he might have created some contact with his lower body.
Second foul on Frampton. He takes a seat. 3-point lead for Charlotte. And a timeout is called by Ron Sanchez. 1:40 to go. Charlotte looking for the victory over Western Kentucky. Charlotte up by 3, 1:40 to go. And Jahmir Young is our player of the game. Another 20-point performance. He's got 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists.
Every opponent knows they have to stop Young, but no one's done it as of late. He moves without the ball. He can make threes. He's a strong driver, complete guard.
Fifth game for Young with 20+ points and 5+ rebounds.
It really bodes well for his future. I've seen players have big freshman years, and then when they get to the top of the scouting report and the other team's best defender is on them and the big guys are ready to help, all of a sudden the game isn't so easy for them. But Young has embraced that challenge and been obviously very much up to that challenge of leading this team offensively.
Well, he just knocked down a pair of free throws. Ron Sanchez called a timeout. So Western Kentucky has the ball, trailing by 3 points with 1:40 to go in this game.
It feels like an awfully long time. There's so many things left to happen and so many possessions that can still happen in this minute 40 over here. I mean, the only thing we know for sure is that the Hilltoppers are going to have to get some big stops down the stretch. If they don't get stops, and that means not fouling as well. If they can't get stops without fouling, you know, they won't be able to make up that 3-point deficit. But as long as they get their stops, they'll have a chance because it's a one-possession game at 3 points.
Those 7 assists, a career high for the sophomore Young. Western Kentucky just 4 3-pointers made in this game. They're 4 for 12. Rawls has missed a couple open looks of late. 10 on the shot clock. Hollingsworth thought about the 3. Now they got to do something. 3 on the clock, 2 on the clock. McKnight from the corner. Oh, that's a big bailout.
And a tough one. Young was in his face. Couldn't play better defense.
And now a minute to go. Charlotte has the ball in a 1-point lead here in overtime.
2 for 1 again if they get the shot in the low 40s.
Shot clock still at 15. Here's Young crossing over Bassey. The feed to Williams, and Bassey blocked it. But Young got it back. Shot clock didn't reset. They're going to call a foul on Hollingsworth. Or else that would have been an easy bucket for Western Kentucky and a lead in the final 30 seconds.
There were 4 turn of events in that play that were all so dramatic.
It's Jordan Shepard at the line for 2 shots. He's 2 for 4 at the line tonight. 67% on the season. And 1 more coming. Well, look at the block from Bassey, and let's take a look at this foul call on Hollingsworth. Right there.
I definitely think he got his arm.
Yeah, they're going to call that more times than not, for sure. All right, so it's a 3-point game once again, and a 5-second difference shot and game clock.
Don't have to go for 3 yet.
McKnight gets bumped. Still driving and throws it away.
Now it comes down to beating the press. Not easy to do against a team as athletic as the Hilltoppers. It's all about now not turning it over for Charlotte. If they don't turn it over, they're going to be sent to the free throw line.
Frampton replaces Williams.
Going to try to get in Young's hands. 2 players jump on Young.
Shot clock is off. 3-point lead for Charlotte. Using time in the backcourt. Get it up to Young. And he's fouled with 11.5.
That could not have gone better for Charlotte. Methodical on the press break and got their offensive leader at the free throw line.
21 points for Jahmir Young. Had 23 in the loss last night. And he's been really good at the free throw line. 83% on the season coming into the weekend. 6 of 7 tonight.
Charlotte with no one on the free throw lane, putting everyone back on defense, making sure the Hilltoppers can't run down quickly. Get behind them.
Charlotte 8 for 8 at the line in overtime. 5-point lead, final 10 seconds. Got to score quick. That's not really the shot you want. A long two from Rawls, but it goes in. I think Rick Stansbury was hoping that they would attempt a three there, but it is a one-possession game. 4.6 left. Now you got to force a turnover.
Yeah, it's going to be basically the Hilltoppers need a steal and a three here, which is a tall order, but it's been done before.
Well, Western Kentucky's been without Josh Anderson, who fouled out late in regulation. He gave us our play of the game. Look out, coming through. Huge first half dunk.
Man, that's elbow above the rim.
2 of his 10 points, but they've really missed him down the stretch.
Especially defensively. I'm surprised people don't talk about him even more defensively. He's stealing the ball, winning one-on-one battles, breaking up plays. They could sure use him at the point of the press here, but let's see if the Hilltoppers get the steal they need.
Well, Shepherd's going to call a timeout. They saw something, and Ron Sanchez decides to use one of his 2 remaining timeouts here in overtime. It's been a fun weekend here in Charlotte. This game back and forth. Western Kentucky had a 7-point lead with 4 minutes to go. Charlotte looked like they were about to get swept. It was basically the same script as yesterday. Charlotte led for most of the game. Led by 11 yesterday, led by 9 today. Let it slip away, but they got a couple big shots, some huge stops, and were able to force overtime. And in OT, they're just making every free throw.
Yeah, but both these teams have enough resiliency where if they're down, as you said, by 7, 9 points, they're going to come back. And as a result, we've been able to enjoy these nail biters down to the final seconds.
Utah State and Air Force coming up next on many of these channels. We appreciate you joining us here as Stadium brings you Conference USA basketball. Western Kentucky, the overwhelming favorites to win Conference USA. They've had a tough time of it here in Charlotte. Had to fight and claw for that win yesterday. Well, it's Charlotte looking for the split.
Sweeps are going to be super difficult to get in this back-to-back format.
And Charlotte has the ball. Up 3, 4.8 to go. They get it in. Young brought it down. Could have been poked away, but he does get fouled. He will get 2 free throws. So 4.7 on the clock. I think that's what I think. I could hear it. I think those of you at home probably heard it too. Ron Sanchez was not happy with the person keeping the clock.
Timekeeper, yeah.
Because, yeah, more time should have come off the clock, you'd think. And they are taking a quick look at this to see. I mean, I would think at least a second would have gone off, not just a 1/10 of a second.
So a part of really good late game coaching is getting the ball to your best free throw shooter. And the fact that they're not only not turning it over and getting the ball in and avoiding 5-second calls, but getting the ball to Young is really the best possible late game execution Charlotte could hope for.
So the home scorekeeper only took a 1/10 of a second off the clock. They're going to take a couple more 1/10ths of a second off the clock. So from 4.7 to 4.5.
Big free throws, obviously.
And that makes it a 2-possession game. 4-point lead for Charlotte, 4.5 to go.
That may do it.
And look at those overtime free throw numbers. Charlotte in the second half, just 1 for 4 at the free throw line. In this overtime session, perfect. Until now. But they need 4 points. McKnight, no good, and Charlotte, just like Western Kentucky, yesterday, wins by 4. And 2 really good games between 2 really good teams.
Anytime you get a win against preseason #1, it feels great. Anytime you get your first conference win, it feels great. And Charlotte denies the Hilltoppers the sweep.
And we're going to talk with Ron Sanchez in just a moment as his Charlotte 49ers come back from 7 down with 4 minutes to go to win this game in overtime. They got 24 from Young. Shepard got him 15, also had 5 assists. And boy, 1-1 is a lot different than 0-2. And they are dead even with the preseason favorites. An interesting little handshake there. Probably a family member. And we are now joined by Ron Sanchez, the victorious head coach of the Charlotte 49ers. Coach, you were down 7 with 4 to go. How'd you get this thing into overtime and pull it off?
You know, this is our, first time experiencing these back-to-backs, and we just wanted to be solid. That's such a good team. A lot of credit to Coach and his squad. We all fought hard. We battled today. Today was more a battle of wills, and I think that our guys really just battled. They didn't quit. We wanted to play it, wanted to run the race all the way to the end. And I think we did a great job defensively, created some easy scoring opportunities here. And we're just thankful for the win. Hopefully this can be something that allows us to step forward and continue to build. That's a really good basketball team.
And Coach, I think your foresight was great. You had a lot of guys play a lot of minutes this weekend, including overtime, but yet you had a lot left in the tank at the end. You said you started planning for this last Sunday. Talk about that process and how you anticipated this sort of situation.
Well, we wanted to make sure that we didn't, beat our guys up during the week. We wanted to be really smart. So we, with the help of our physical development specialist, Morgan Forster, she's unbelievable. She gave me a very specific plan about how many minutes we should practice, what guys should go for how long. We really looked at their numbers, and we strategically planned our entire week, including, this morning's, kind of film and walkthrough to make sure that we had as much as we could in the tank. These are going to be hard weekends for everybody in our conference. I think we all just have to plan well.
And it doesn't get any easier for you, Coach. We'll see you next weekend at Marshall against the Thundering Herd. Yeah,
again, another great team. I don't know who, somebody must not like me. They gave me some really challenging weekends. But again, man, we're just thankful to be, here. Thankful for you guys for being here and that we're on the floor playing, doing what we most enjoy. Thank you so much and Happy New Year to all you guys.
Yeah, Happy New Year, Coach. Thanks a lot. Congratulations on the win this evening.
Thank you so much.
That's Ron Sanchez, head coach of the Charlotte 49ers, who win in overtime by 4. And we've got 2 of the best teams in the conference, played 2 games down to the wire, and it's a split.
Yeah, so much fun to see. And I'm impressed with how Coach Sanchez has planned for the back-to-back all week, and his team comes up with a gritty, consistent performance.
Well, Western Kentucky won yesterday by 4. Charlotte wins today by 4. Conference USA season off and running, and if these 2 games are any indication, it is going to be a fun one. We got Utah State and Air Force coming up next on Stadium. For Dr. John Giannini and our entire Stadium crew, I'm Chris Hassel. So long from Charlotte, and Happy New Year, everybody.